Welcome to the world of mysteries and horrors. Today, we will tell you a story that will make you think, is it always safe to answer the phone? A story about a girl whose work night turned into a real nightmare. Anna worked as an emergency service operator. The night was especially quiet, and she was almost dozing off when the phone rang. The voice on the other end was weak and trembling. "Please, help me," a child's voice whispered. Anna immediately tensed. She could hear soft sobs through the receiver, followed by the creak of floorboards, as if someone was carefully walking near the child. "Are you home alone?" Anna asked cautiously. "No, he's here," the child whispered. A quiet sound came through the line, like a door slowly opening and someone stepping into the room. "Who is with you?" Anna asked. But at that moment, the call was cut off. The screen displayed, "Subscriber unavailable." A strange feeling settled in her chest, as if something was telling her this was no ordinary call. Anna checked the system. The call had come from a phone registered to an abandoned house on the outskirts of town. That was odd. She decided to pass the information to the police, but something told her she needed to know more. The house had been abandoned for years, but locals told strange stories about it. They said a family once lived there, but they mysteriously disappeared. Since then, no one had dared to enter. Anna couldn't just forget about the call. She decided to contact the police. But at that moment, the phone rang again. It was the same number. "He's coming," the child whispered, followed by a faint sound, like someone breathing heavily into the receiver. A chill ran down Anna's spine. She heard footsteps creaking closer to the child. Anna opened her mouth to say something, but suddenly there was a sharp noise on the other end, and then silence. Anna gripped the phone, listening intently. The line was dead, but she thought she could hear faint breathing. "Hello?" she called cautiously. No response, just an eerie silence. And then, a sharp scraping sound like nails dragging across wood. Anna shuddered. The sound felt wrong, unnatural, as if someone wanted her to hear it. She decided to check police records. Entering the house's address, she froze. Years ago, a tragedy had occurred there. A family of 3 had vanished without a trace. The only thing left behind was an old telephone with the receiver torn off. The phone rang again. Anna jumped, but answered. This time, the voice was different. Male, raspy, slow. "You shouldn't have answered." The line went dead. Her heart pounded wildly. This wasn't a prank. Someone knew she was looking for information. Someone was watching her. The office suddenly felt unbearably quiet. She quickly dialed the police and reported everything. The operator on the other end fell silent, then spoke in a hushed voice. "We've received calls like this before, but no one who answered ever made contact again." Anna knew she should stop, but something inside her pushed her forward. She grabbed her car keys and headed for the house. The road felt endless. The house looked even more terrifying in person. The windows were dark, the door slightly open. Inside there was dead silence, but Anna knew she wasn't alone. She stepped inside cautiously. The floorboards creaked under her feet. The air smelled of dampness and something else, something metallic. Suddenly, a faint noise came from upstairs, like someone walking down the hallway. Anna froze. In the dim glow of her flashlight, a shadow flickered on the staircase. She wasn't alone. Someone was standing at the top, watching her. Anna held her breath. Soft footsteps echoed from above. Someone was moving carefully down the corridor. Her palms were sweaty, her heart pounding. She took a step forward, but the floorboards betrayed her with a loud creak. At the end of the hallway, a door stood ajar. It swayed slightly, as if someone had just touched it. Swallowing hard, Anna moved forward. Each step echoed through the empty house. Behind the door was a room with an old telephone in the center. It looked as if it had been used recently. Anna stepped closer, but suddenly the phone rang. She flinched. Her hand trembled as she picked up the receiver. "You're already too close," a voice whispered. At that moment, the door behind her slowly closed with a dull click. Anna rushed to it and grabbed the handle, but it wouldn't budge. She was locked in. Suddenly, the light flickered, then went out, plunging her into darkness. Heavy footsteps echoed in the room. They weren't hers. Someone was there. Frantically, she searched for her phone, but the screen was dead. Then, something cold brushed against her shoulder. "You shouldn't have come here." A whisper sounded right behind her. Anna spun around, but saw no one. Only the icy air against her skin. Her only escape was the window. She ran to it, but outside, there was no street, only endless darkness. She stepped back, panic gripping her mind. The phone rang again. Anna picked it up. This time it wasn't just one voice, it was many. They whispered over each other. "He's coming for you," one of them said. And then a knock. Slow, heavy. Anna froze, her heart hammering. Someone was at the door. She knew she shouldn't open it, but the knocking grew louder. She stepped back as the door began to open on its own. The creak of the hinges cut through the silence. Beyond the threshold, there was only darkness, but something moved within it. A tall shadow emerged. It stood still, yet Anna felt its gaze. A voice echoed in her mind, inhuman and cold. "You've come too far." Anna bolted down the hallway. Her footsteps echoed through the house, but behind her, another sound followed, soft, deliberate steps. Ahead, the staircase loomed. She raced down, skipping steps, but her foot slipped. She nearly fell. Behind her, the shadow descended, unhurried. Reaching the front door, she yanked the handle. Locked. Frantic, she searched her pockets for the key. Nothing. Behind her, the floorboards groaned. The phone rang again. She turned. The telephone sat on a small table. A second of hesitation. Then she ran to it, desperate for a voice. Anyone real? She picked up the receiver. "You're already here," a deep voice said. Anna froze. It wasn't a whisper. It wasn't a ghost. It was a person, and he was close. Behind her, a quiet click. The door she thought was locked slowly opened. A rush of cold air swept through the room, and the shadow stepped forward. Anna saw a glint of metal, a blade. Her heart pounded. She had almost no time left. She lunged to the side, knocking over a chair. The crash of breaking glass. She grabbed a vase and hurled it at the figure, hoping to buy seconds. The vase shattered. She ran. She saw the window, her only escape, but it was boarded up. Grabbing a chair, she struck the wood with all her strength. Behind her, heavy breathing. He was close. Another strike. The wood cracked. Another. The glass shattered. She grabbed the frame, ready to climb out, but a hand seized her shoulder. She screamed and wrenched free. She shoved herself through the window, landing hard on the ground. Pain shot through her hands, but she didn't stop. She ran. Looking back, she saw a figure in the broken window. It didn't move. Then, it raised a hand and waved. Anna turned and ran, heart hammering, and then her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. I will find you. The phone slipped from her hands. Somewhere in the darkness, quiet laughter echoed. The story was over. Or had it just begun?